Welcome back. This channel exists because of your support. Subscribe, hit like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Now let's get into the story. Sunday brunch at the Penrose wasn't supposed to be an execution. The restaurant sat in Back Bay like something out of a lifestyle magazine, the kind of place where people went to be seen as much as to eat. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked Boylston Street. White tablecloths caught the morning light streaming in, and everything on the menu cost twice what it should. The hostess wore the practiced smile of someone who dealt with entitled customers all day. I showed up 10 minutes early, but Brooke was already there with 5 of her friends, all dressed like they were filming content for social media. They'd claimed the best table by the window, naturally. The kind of spot where passers-by could admire their carefully curated brunch aesthetic. The table was covered with mimosas, eggs Benedict, and $18 avocado toast. Brooke waved me over with that bright smile she used when she wanted something. Her friends looked up as I approached. Nicole and Amanda seemed normal, but Ashley, Jessica, and Taylor had this weird energy, like they were waiting for a show to start. "There he is," Brooke announced as I sat down. "We were just talking about the honeymoon. Napa Valley is going to be incredible." The conversation flowed around wedding venues, dress fittings, and someone's recent promotion. Standard Sunday brunch talk. I was halfway through my coffee when I noticed Ashley kept checking her phone and smirking. Jessica had that look people get right before they spill gossip. Something was off. Then Brooke cleared her throat. Not the polite kind. The kind that demands attention from everyone in a 10-foot radius. The table went quiet. She looked directly at me, then around at her friends. Her expression wasn't sad or conflicted. It was almost theatrical. "I need to say something," she announced, voice carrying across our section of the restaurant. "I've been thinking about this for weeks, and I can't keep pretending." I set my coffee down. A few nearby tables glanced over. "I'm officially calling off the wedding." She paused for effect, making sure every eye was on her. "The wedding is off. My feelings, they're just gone." Her friends gasped. Nicole and Amanda looked genuinely shocked. Ashley, Jessica, and Taylor exchanged quick glances that told me they already knew. This wasn't news to them. This was a performance. The restaurant felt quieter somehow. I could hear silverware clinking at distant tables, the low hum of other conversations continuing like nothing happened. I took a breath, looked at her, then at the ring on her finger. The one I'd saved 8 months to buy. "Thanks for saying it out loud," I said calmly. That caught her off guard. She blinked twice, like she was waiting for more. Tears, maybe. Anger. Begging. Something dramatic to match her announcement. I stood up slowly, reached across the table, and held out my hand. "I'll take the ring back." Her mouth opened slightly. She glanced at her friends. Ashley gave her an encouraging nod, like this was all going according to plan. Brooke slid the ring off and dropped it into my palm. For $1,200, returned in front of an audience. I pocketed it without looking at it again. "Well," I said, loud enough for the table to hear, since we were making announcements, "I guess I'll turn tonight into a lucky escape celebration instead." 2 of her friends laughed nervously. Brooke forced a smile, playing along like this was all friendly and mature. Then I added the part I'd been holding back. "Since we're making public announcements, everyone should know your parents paid for the venue deposit, catering down payment, and your dress alterations. You should probably be the one to explain to them why they're out $18,000. The laughter stopped immediately. Brooke's face went pale. Ashley looked down at her plate. Jessica suddenly became very interested in her phone. "Wait, what?" Brooke's voice lost its theatrical edge. "You can't just—" "I'm not doing anything," I interrupted, keeping my tone even. "You made your choice publicly. Now you get to own it. Also publicly." I pulled 2 20s from my wallet and set them on the table. "That covers my coffee and tip." Nobody said anything as I walked out. No goodbyes, no dramatic exit lines. Just a calm departure from a situation that could have destroyed me if I'd let it. My phone started buzzing before I even reached my car. Text after text. Brooke, her friends, even her cousin who wasn't at the brunch. All asking me to wait, to come back, to talk this through. I silenced the notifications and drove to Newberry Street, finding a parking spot in the jewelry district. The afternoon sun reflected off storefront windows as couples wandered past, probably discussing their own engagement rings. How many of them would end up like this? The jeweler I'd researched was an older guy who'd been in business for 30 years. His shop was small but well-appointed, with security cameras in every corner and display cases full of sparkling promises. He examined the ring under a jeweler's loupe, checking the setting, testing the diamond, asking detailed questions about where I'd bought it and when. "It's in excellent condition," he said finally. "I can offer you $3,400. Not the full $4,200 I'd paid, but close enough considering the circumstances." I took it without negotiating. Walking out of that shop felt like closing a chapter. The ring was gone, converted back into cash I could actually use for something worthwhile. From there, I spent the next hour systematically canceling everything. The venue at Boston Harbor Hotel was under my name, my card. Done. The photographer, also my booking. Canceled. The caterer, the florist, the rental company for chairs and tables. All my arrangements. All canceled within 90 minutes. My phone kept buzzing. 12 missed calls from Brooke. 6 from Ashley. 3 from numbers I didn't recognize. I called my parents instead. "Hey, Mom. Honey, what's wrong? You sound off." "Wedding's off." She called it off at brunch in front of her friends. Told me her feelings were gone. Silence on the other end. Then my dad's voice in the background. "What happened?" My mom put me on speaker. I explained the whole thing, keeping it factual. The public announcement, the ring, the party comment, the reminder about her parents' money. My dad laughed. Actually laughed. Good. I never trusted her. "Robert," my mom scolded, but she was fighting a smile. "He's right, though, sweetheart. We didn't want to say anything while you two were together, but we always felt like she was performing. Like she wanted the wedding more than the marriage." "Yeah," I said. "I'm starting to see that." We talked for another 20 minutes. They asked if I was okay, if I needed anything. I told them the truth. I felt fine. Surprisingly fine. Maybe even relieved. After we hung up, I looked at my phone. 43 unread messages now. I scrolled through a few. "Brooke, we need to talk. This isn't how I wanted things to go." "Ashley, she's really upset. Can you please just hear her out?" Unknown number. "This is Frances, Brooke's sister. Call me." I set the phone face down and opened my laptop. Time to turn that lucky escape celebration from a joke into reality. Monday morning arrived gray and drizzly. Typical Boston weather that matched nobody's mood, but somehow fit mine perfectly. I woke up to 17 new messages on my phone. Ignored all of them, got dressed in my usual work clothes, grabbed breakfast from the corner cafe, and headed downtown like it was any other day. Because it was any other day. The only difference was I wasn't engaged anymore. The office buzzed with its usual Monday energy. Coffee brewing, keyboards clicking, people discussing their weekends. I settled at my desk and opened my laptop, diving into the quarterly reports that needed reviewing. Normal work. Normal life. Around 10:30, my friend Connor appeared at my desk. We'd known each other since college, and he had that ability to read people that made him good at both his job and friendship. "You seem different today," he said, leaning against my desk. "Lighter, somehow. Did something happen?" "Wedding's canceled," I told him, not looking up from my computer screen. "What? When?" "Yesterday. She called it off at brunch. Said her feelings were gone." Connor stood there processing that for a long moment. I could see him trying to figure out the appropriate response. Sympathy? Outrage? Concern? "And you're here at work. On time. Looking." He searched for the word. "Fine? Where else would I be?" He laughed, but it was more amazed than amused. "Man, most guys would be calling in sick, drinking themselves stupid, or blowing up her phone trying to get her back. You're just here working on spreadsheets like nothing happened." She made her choice. I'm making mine. That seemed to satisfy his curiosity. He patted my shoulder and went back to his desk, but I caught him glancing over a few times during the morning, like he was trying to solve a puzzle. Word spread through the office by lunch. A few people offered condolences. I thanked them and kept working. My phone buzzed during my break. Brooke's mother. I let it go to voicemail, then listened to the message. "We need to talk about what happened yesterday. Brooke is very upset and confused. Please call me back so we can sort this out like adults." I deleted it. 10 minutes later, another voicemail. This time from Brooke's father. His tone was different. Sharper. "I just got off the phone with the venue. They said you canceled. I need you to call me immediately. We have contracts to discuss." I saved that one. Around 3 in the afternoon, Connor called. "Dude, I just heard from someone. Ashley texted my girlfriend asking if I could talk to you." "What the hell happened?" I gave him the short version. The brunch, the announcement, the ring, my comment about her parents. Connor was quiet for a second, then burst out laughing. You said that in front of everyone. Every word. That's cold. I love it. So what now? Now nothing. She wanted out. She's out. I'm throwing a party in 2 weeks. You coming? A party. The lucky escape celebration. I mentioned it at the brunch. Figured I should follow through. More laughter from Connor's end. Absolutely. I'll bring the good whiskey. This is going to be legendary. After work, I finally looked at my phone properly. 68 messages now. Most from Brooke, a few from her friends. One from her sister Frances that just said, "Call me." Seriously. I opened Brooke's messages and scrolled through them. Please just talk to me. This isn't what I wanted. You're being incredibly immature. My parents are furious. Do you have any idea what you've done? Fine. Ignore me, but we're going to have to talk eventually. I blocked her number, then blocked Ashley and the 3 unknown numbers that had been texting all day. I kept Frances unblocked in case there were any legitimate family issues to discuss. My phone immediately felt lighter. That evening, Connor called again. So Ashley just tried to get me to convince you to talk to Brooke. She said Brooke is devastated and didn't mean for things to go this way. How did she think it would go? Honestly, Ashley let something slip. She said Brooke thought you'd be upset, maybe even cry, and that it would prove how much you cared. Some kind of test or validation thing. I sat down, processing that. She humiliated me in public to test me. Sounds like it. Ashley realized she said too much and backtracked hard. But yeah, that's the vibe. Brooke wanted a reaction. She got one, just not the one she expected. What else did Ashley say? She mentioned something about a guy. Someone Brooke met a few weeks ago. Apparently, he's part of why she was feeling conflicted. There it was. The other piece of the puzzle. So she lined up a replacement before ending things. Classic, Connor agreed. And from what Ashley said, this guy is supposedly some investment advisor. Drives a nice car, takes her to expensive places. Real smooth operator. Good for them. You're taking this really well, Connor observed. Because I dodged a bullet. If she'd waited until after the wedding, this would be a nightmare. Lawyers, splitting assets, all that mess. Instead, she showed me exactly who she is before I made a legal commitment. You should send her a thank you card. After hanging up with Connor, I created a group chat with my close friends. Sent out a simple message. Lucky escape party 2 weeks from Saturday, my place, 7 p.m. Bring whatever you want. Let's celebrate good judgment. Responses came in fast. Laughing emojis, confirmations, jokes about bringing target practice supplies. Everyone was in. My phone buzzed one more time. A message from a number I didn't have saved, but I recognized the area code. Brooke's parents. We paid for half of that wedding. You will be hearing from our attorney about breach of contract. I screenshot the message, saved it to a folder, and typed back one sentence. I didn't breach anything. Your daughter called off the wedding. Take it up with her. Then I blocked that number too. 3 days after the brunch, I got a message from a number I didn't recognize. Against my better instincts, I opened it. This is Nicole. We met at the brunch. I need to talk to you about what happened. Can we meet for coffee? Nicole. I remembered her. She was one of the 2 who looked genuinely shocked when Brooke made her announcement. One of the ones who didn't seem in on whatever plan was happening. I texted back, why? Because you deserve to know the truth. And because I feel sick about being part of it. We met at Thinking Cup in the North End. I'd chosen a table in the back corner, away from the main flow of customers. The place smelled like espresso and fresh pastries, with enough ambient noise to cover our conversation. Nicole was already there when I arrived, nursing a latte and looking genuinely uncomfortable. Her usually perfect appearance seemed strained, like she hadn't been sleeping well. I sat down across from her, ordered a black coffee, and waited. Thank you for meeting me, she started. I wasn't sure you would. You said I deserved to know the truth. That got my attention. She took a shaky breath. Brooke planned the whole thing. The brunch, the announcement, the timing, all of it. She'd been talking about it in our group chat for almost 3 weeks. I felt something shift in my chest. Not surprise exactly. More like confirmation of something I'd suspected but hadn't wanted to believe. Keep going. Nicole pulled out her phone with trembling hands, scrolled through something, then turned it toward me. Screenshots of a group chat titled Wedding Drama with 5 participants. I read through them slowly, my coffee growing cold. Brooke, I think I'm going to do it at brunch next Sunday. Make it clean and public. Ashley, OMG yes. That's so brave. Like a movie scene. Jessica, He's going to be devastated, but it's better to be honest, right? Brooke, exactly. And if he really loves me, his reaction will show it. I need to see some passion. I handed the phone back, my expression unchanged. She wanted me to break down. Yes, Nicole said quietly, her voice barely audible over the coffee shop noise. She told us she needed to see if you actually cared, because you'd been so calm and stable about everything. She said it felt like you weren't passionate enough, like you were just going through the motions. The irony wasn't lost on me. My stability, the thing most people valued about me, had become evidence of not caring enough. So she decided to humiliate me in front of her friends to test my feelings. Nicole nodded, looking miserable. Amanda and I told her it was wrong. We said if she had doubts, she should talk to you privately. But Ashley kept encouraging it, saying it was romantic and honest. What else did she say in those messages? Nicole scrolled through more screenshots. There's this guy, Ryan. She met him at some networking event about 6 weeks ago. He's been taking her to expensive places, sending flowers, texting constantly. Very intense, very dramatic. Everything you're apparently not. She showed me another message. Ryan makes me feel alive. Like I'm the center of his universe. Michael is sweet, but he's so predictable. I need someone who makes me feel special. I read it twice. Let me guess. She thought I'd beg her to stay, prove I was just as intense, and then she'd have validation that I cared. Something like that. And if you didn't react enough, she'd feel justified moving on to Ryan. She had it all planned out. Nicole shook her head. Amanda and I told her it was manipulative, but Ashley and the others kept encouraging it, saying it was romantic and honest. What about now? Now everything's falling apart, Nicole said. Ryan disappeared the day after the brunch. Apparently, he wanted the fun of being the other guy, not the actual relationship. When he found out she really called off the wedding, he stopped returning her calls. I almost felt bad. Almost. And her parents? Furious. Her dad called her Sunday night after you canceled everything. They had a huge fight. He told her if she made this decision, she's paying them back for their half of the wedding costs. We're talking almost $18,000. That matched what I knew they'd contributed. Venue deposit, catering down payment, her dress alterations. All of it added up. She doesn't have that kind of money, Nicole continued. She's been living paycheck to paycheck, spending everything on clothes and brunches and keeping up appearances. Now she's panicking because Ryan's gone, you're gone, and she's got this massive debt to her own parents. I finished my coffee. Why are you telling me this? Because it's wrong, Nicole said firmly. I watched you handle that brunch with more dignity than she deserved. You didn't yell, didn't make a scene, just took your ring back and left. And I keep thinking about how she planned to hurt you just to get a reaction. That's not what friends do. So what now? Now Amanda and I are done with that friend group. We're out. Ashley and the others can keep playing their dramatic games, but we want no part of it. She paused. And I wanted you to know the truth because you handled everything right. She's the one who messed up, not you. We talked for another 20 minutes. Nicole told me more about the group dynamic, how Ashley had always encouraged Brooke's worst impulses, how the whole thing had become toxic over the past year. Driving home, I thought about everything Nicole had revealed. The planning, the manipulation, the expectation that I'd perform like a heartbroken character in some romance drama. The fact that she'd lined up Ryan as a backup before even ending things. My phone buzzed at a red light. A message from Frances, Brooke's sister. I know you blocked Brooke. I don't blame you, but she's asking if you'd be willing to talk. Says she made a huge mistake. I typed back quickly. She made her choice publicly. I'm respecting that choice. We're done. Frances responded immediately. Fair enough. For what it's worth, I think you handled it better than most would have. Good luck. The week leading up to the party was surprisingly quiet. Work kept me busy. I hit the gym 3 times, caught up with friends I'd been neglecting during the wedding planning chaos. Turns out I had a lot more free time when I wasn't dealing with seating charts and vendor meetings. Thursday afternoon, Connor called. You're not going to believe this. Ashley just posted something on social media about how people should support their friends through difficult times and not abandon them when they make mistakes. Very vague, but everyone knows she's talking about Brooke. Let me guess. The comments aren't going her way. Nope. Someone asked what happened, and Nicole responded with the actual story. Said Brooke planned a public humiliation and is now upset it backfired. Ashley deleted the whole post 20 minutes later. Friday morning, I got an email from an address I didn't recognize. The subject line said, "Please read." Against my better judgment, I opened it. It was from Brooke. A long message about how she'd made a terrible mistake. How the past 2 weeks had been the worst of her life. How she'd been confused and influenced by bad advice. She said Ryan was a mistake. The public announcement was a mistake. All of it was a mistake. She asked if we could meet somewhere neutral to talk. Said she understood if I was angry, but hoped I'd at least hear her out. I read it twice, then deleted it. An hour later, my phone rang. Brooke's father. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. "Yes. I owe you an apology," he said without preamble. "I spoke with several people this week. Got the full story about what happened at that brunch. My daughter planned that whole scene, and you handled it with more maturity than I gave you credit for. Okay. I'm calling because I wanted you to know we're not pursuing any legal action regarding the wedding costs. That's between us and Brooke now. You canceled what was yours to cancel. Everything was legitimate. I appreciate you letting me know." He was quiet for a moment. "For what it's worth, I think you made the right call. Walking away from someone who treats you like that takes strength. I wish I'd seen it sooner." Saturday, the day of the party, I was at the grocery store picking up supplies when I ran into Nicole. She had a cart full of wine bottles. "For the party?" she asked, nodding at my burgers and beer. "Yeah. You coming?" "Amanda and I both are. If that's still okay. We figured you might not want anyone from that group there." "You two are fine. You told the truth when it mattered. That counts for something." Nicole smiled. "Brooke's losing it, by the way. She found out through someone that we're going to your party. Sent this long message about betrayal and loyalty. I told her loyalty goes both ways and blocked her. How's she handling everything else?" "Terrible. She's picking up extra shifts trying to pay her parents back. Ryan hasn't contacted her since the day after the brunch. Ashley's still defending her, but even that's getting strained because Ashley's boyfriend asked why she's supporting someone who manipulates people." I loaded a case of beer into my cart. "Sounds like consequences." "That's exactly what it is," Nicole agreed. "And honestly, watching you just move on and plan this party while she's spiraling has been eye-opening. You could have been bitter or vindictive, but you're just living your life. That's powerful." The party started at 7. By 7:30, my Beacon Hill apartment was packed. I'd lived in the same one-bedroom for 3 years, nothing fancy, but it had character. Exposed brick walls, hardwood floors, and enough space for people to move around comfortably. Connor showed up first with the whiskey he'd promised, a bottle of Jameson that cost more than most people spend on groceries. Nicole and Amanda arrived together, carrying wine and genuine smiles. They dressed casually, which I appreciated. No performance, no agenda. The vibe was perfect. Nothing fancy, just people eating burgers, drinking beer, and genuinely enjoying themselves. A few coworkers I'd invited were laughing in the kitchen, sharing stories about office politics. Some guys from my gym were debating whether the Patriots had a shot this season. My neighbor from upstairs stopped by with his girlfriend. Everyone kept congratulating me on what they called the cleanest breakup in history. "I don't think I could have handled it that well," said Mike from accounting, gesturing with his beer. "The whole public thing would have destroyed me." "That's the thing." Connor jumped in, clearly enjoying his role as storyteller. She expected him to fall apart. The whole plan was to make him emotional. Instead, he just collected his ring and left like he was paying for lunch. More laughter around the room. Around 8:15, the doorbell rang. I opened it to find Brooke standing there, and the contrast was immediate. While everyone else had dressed down for burgers and beer, she looked like she was headed to some upscale cocktail party. Full makeup, tight black dress, heels that had to be uncomfortable. She was completely overdressed for a casual gathering. "What are you doing here?" I asked. "I need to talk to you." Her voice was shaky but determined, like she'd rehearsed this moment. "You weren't invited." "I know, but I had to see you. I had to try one more time." Behind me, I could feel the party energy shifting. People were starting to notice. Conversations got quieter. Connor appeared at my shoulder, arms crossed, clearly ready to step in if needed. "Please," Brooke said, her voice breaking slightly. "Just give me 5 minutes." I stepped outside and closed the door behind me, cutting off the curious looks from my guests. The October air was crisp, and I could hear the muffled sounds of the party continuing inside. "You have too," I said. "I made a mistake. A huge mistake." These past 2 weeks have been hell, and I keep thinking about what I threw away for attention. She reached for my hand. I pulled back. You're here because Ryan didn't work out and you're in debt. That's not true. It is true. You planned that brunch to humiliate me. It backfired. Now you want to undo it, but you can't undo showing people exactly who you are. Her eyes filled with tears. So that's it. You won't even try. There's nothing to try. You ended it. I moved on. This party isn't spite, Brooke. It's celebration. I'm celebrating the fact that I didn't marry someone who thinks love is a game. I opened the door. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have guests. She stood there, mascara starting to run, looking at me like I was supposed to change my mind. I didn't. Goodbye, Brooke. I walked back inside and closed the door. Connor handed me a beer. You good? Yeah, I'm good. The party continued. Nobody asked about Brooke. Nobody felt sorry for me. We just kept celebrating. Around midnight, as people started heading out, Nicole pulled me aside. That took guts, turning her away in front of everyone. It took honesty, I corrected. She wanted a performance. I gave her the truth instead. 3 days later, I was at my desk when the receptionist called. Someone's here to see you. Says it's personal. I went down to the lobby. Brooke stood by the windows, looking smaller somehow. Less polished than at the party. What are you doing here? I couldn't stop thinking about what you said. About showing people who I really am. She took a breath. I finally understand what I lost. I hope you're doing well. You deserved better than how I treated you. I stood there for a moment. Thought about telling her I was thriving, that the past month had been better than the entire year we'd been engaged. Instead, I said, you were honest at that brunch about not loving me. I'm being honest now. That honesty was the best gift you ever gave me. Take care. Then I turned and walked back to the elevator. That evening, I blocked her remaining number after one final text exchange she sent from a different phone. No anger, no bitterness. Just a clean ending to a chapter that should never have been written in the first place. 3 months later, I was sitting at a waterfront restaurant in Savannah. The money I'd gotten from selling the ring, plus what I'd saved for the honeymoon, bought me 2 weeks of actual peace. No drama, no manipulation, just ocean views and good food. Back home, work had given me a promotion to team lead. I'd been in line for it before all the wedding chaos, and my calm handling of personal drama had apparently impressed management. The extra responsibility came with better pay and actual respect from people who valued competence over theatrics. Connor and I grabbed lunch twice a week now. Nicole had become a genuine friend, the kind who showed up when you needed them. I'd been on a few dates. Nothing serious yet, and that was fine. I wasn't rushing into anything. The difference now was I knew exactly what I wouldn't tolerate. Games, tests, public humiliation disguised as honesty. Anyone who thought relationships were performance art could find someone else. My phone buzzed with a text from Connor. Ryan's engaged to someone new. Saw it on social media. Fast worker. I smiled and put the phone away. Somewhere back in Boston, Brooke was probably still trying to figure out where things went wrong. But that wasn't my story anymore. Mine was just beginning. Dear listeners, that's our ending. If it resonated, subscribe to support the channel. See you next time.